Hi everyone. So today I will be sharing about Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, a Mexican tradition that honors deceased loved ones through vibrant ofrendas, music, food, and storytelling. At its heart, this celebration is a reminder that death is not the opposite of life, but part of its natural rhythm. Throughout this time, families will create altars adorned with marigolds, candles, decorated sugar skulls, and favorite foods, not to mourn, but rather to welcome spirits home. Preparation and participation includes each and every family member, no matter their age. The holiday is deeply rooted in indigenous Mesoamerican beliefs about the cyclical nature of existence. Over time, it blended with Catholic observances of All Saints and All Souls Days after Spanish colonization. What has endured is a joyful remembrance, a way to celebrate life, family, and continuity beyond the veil. Long before Spanish colonization, though, pre-Hispanic cultures such as the Aztec, Mayan, and Purépecha viewed death not as an ending, but instead as a transformation. Ancestors were considered to still be active members of the community, deserving of ongoing care, communication, connection, and respect. When the Spanish arrived, they sought to suppress these indigenous practices and began to merge them with their own Catholic rituals in November to align with their religious calendar. Over centuries, this fusion evolved into a syncretic celebration, part indigenous cosmology, part colonial inheritance. Today, Dia de los Muertos stands as both a spiritual and political act, a way of both remembering and resisting. It reflects the endurance of indigenous worldviews and serves as a powerful expression of Mexican identity, resilience, and intergenerational pride. As the holiday has gained visibility worldwide, it has also faced the pressures of commercialization. Mass-produced decorations and corporate marketing can strip sacred practices of their meaning. In the United States, pop culture portrayals like the Disney movie Coco, face painting, themed parties, or Halloween crossover events brings visibility, but sometimes drifts more towards appropriation rather than appreciation. Within Mexico itself, class and regional differences shape how it's observed. Rural indigenous communities often maintain more traditional rituals, while urban celebrations may take on a more performative or touristic character. Yet, even amidst all these forces, communities continually reclaim and reinterpret their tradition. Dia de los Muertos remains an act of cultural sovereignty, a living expression of identity that refuses to be flattened or commodified. When we approach practices like Dia de los Muertos, cultural humility offers a vital lens. Cultural competence suggests that one can master or know another culture, but humility reminds us that understanding is an ongoing process. It asks us to recognize our position, our limits, and to stay teachable. Engaging with this tradition through humility means learning from cultural bearers, giving credit and compensations where they're due, and being mindful not to replicate rituals that aren't ours to perform. It's about relationship, not replication. Reverence over recreation. And looking at the table, you can see cultural competence and cultural humility being compared, where cultural competence says, I've learned about Day of the Dead, and cultural humility says, I'm continually learning from those who live this tradition. Cultural competence focuses on acquiring facts, where cultural humility focuses on lifelong reflection and relationship. Cultural competence seeks mastery, and cultural humility seeks connection. Cultural competence is a risk of tokenizing or appropriating a culture, where cultural humility is a practice honoring the origins, context, and voices of the culture. As a mortician and even as a yoga teacher, I'm drawn to rituals that keep the dead among the living through memory and reverence. Dia de los Muertos reminds us that death care can be both sacred and celebratory. It can hold both grief and joy together. It calls me to question how I, too, honor the dead, not through imitation, but through authenticity and respect. Cultural humility asks that we remain lifelong learners, willing to listen more than we speak, and to approach every culture as its own teacher. In honoring Dia de los Muertos, we also honor the beauty of diversity, the truth that remembrance itself is universal, even if its language is not.